Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mason Cox Show. Plenty going on now. To start off, Tasmania is getting a football team. Never thought I'd say that. We've got the NBA All-Star Game, a huge flop. We've got life could be worse. Could be Sierra's husband, Russell Wilson. We'll explain more. Talk about Superbikes, everything that's all happening. But first of all, let's get straight into it. This is the sporting segment on the Mason Cox Show. All right, let's get into it. Braden, welcome. What a week in sport. It's been happening.
It's good that sport is finally starting to kick off. Like I was getting bored there for a bit, coming out of the summer, and we've got to get footy back up and running. And it's good to see that it has kicked off. And
3 weeks away.
Yeah, you're
around the corner.
Well, before we jump into it, I saw you at the Superbikes.
Yes.
What were you doing down there? Are you another fly-in celebrity just to walk pit lane and? What were you doing down there?
Yeah, I mean, someone offered a helicopter ride, pit lane experience, and a few other things. Yeah, shout out to Tissot. Huge fan of Tissot. Hey, we need a sponsor. Tissot, get around it. But no, it was down there, Phillip Island. It was a bucket list item. I always wanted to go down there, check out the track down there. It's a massive, massive ordeal. So I got on a helicopter ride beforehand, got to go across Phillip Island. But I must say, one of the highlights, and this is not really sporting related, but saw the penguins. And by golly, the Phillip Island penguins, they're a sight. I would hang crap on them like I do Tasmania, but I'm telling you, totally changed. Totally changed once you actually go experience it firsthand.
You got to get them on the bikes. Penguins on Superbikes. Now that's selling tickets.
That is selling tickets, no doubt. But they are crazy, the bikes. They go over like 300 kilometers an hour. These things are the F1 on two wheels. It was so impressive to watch live. The loudness of like the bikes, how like they scream past you and they go by in a flick of like a second. It's just insane. It was really cool. If you haven't done it, highly recommend it. Awesome experience down there. And if you're a bike enthusiast, I'm sure it's one of those things that's going to be on your bucket list for a long time.
Have you ever ridden a motorbike? I don't see the mechanics working very well.
There was a time in Bali, actually. We don't like to, go into it too much, but I was on the back of a Bali bike. I think my legs actually probably wrapped around the person in front of me because I had to do that just to be able to fit on the bike. But yeah, we don't like to go into Bali. Bali's a bit like Vegas of Australia, like what happens in Bali stays in Bali.
I've got a pretty good record of falling off Bali scooters. It's I'm still here.
I once fell off a scooter in Thailand and told the club I tripped and fell from a waterfall hike and I broke my hand. And I'm still sticking to that line until now because I know my physio's listening to this going, I knew it.
Hey, I think everyone at the Collingwood Football Club gets one extravagant excuse. It wasn't a dog. It wasn't frisbee. It wasn't cricket. It's
I'll fill in from a basketball stance. We have plenty of stories, no doubt. But let's get into it, man.
Well, you can walk me through this one because I don't know much about the NBA. I can flick it on and have. I like the stars. I like the stars better than the games, but. The NBA All-Star Game, I didn't even know it was on. Is that a sign of how big a flop this thing was?
It was bad, like real bad. I'll go through the numbers. There's only 4.6 million viewers, which is down 27% from last year's All-Star Game.
How many people in the States?
Oh, it's 333 million.
Ooh.
So I don't know, like the NBA being one of the biggest sports and like being one of the biggest like kind of, things that get together for an all-star game. But the thing is like the NFL's changing stuff. They're not doing the Pro Bowl anymore. They're doing different competitions from like dodgeball and greatest catch and all this random stuff. And now the NBA is now looking at doing something similar because people aren't tuning in. Like you might have the best stars in the whole league and the best stars in the game, but whenever you're dropping like 180 points to 170 something, it just doesn't. There's no defense. Like this is just essentially a dunk contest in a game form.
Now I want to get into this because everyone always brings up the same old point as we got to bring state of origin back and all that crap. It won't work. It just doesn't work. There's not enough passion in the rivalry. And now that's my point. Every player in the AFL is friends with the other team. As soon as the siren goes, hey buddy, how's your family? How's the kids? Oh, well, we got stocks together. We got a business together. We sell watches and sunnies and all this kind of junk. I want to see rivalries and passion in the game. And if you're like complaining about not making enough money and not enough percentage, I don't care if it's fabricated. But I want to see more rivalry in the game, talking shit about each other, and I've figured out the way around it. There's a loophole that you can get around
Loophole?
Because obviously you can't go and talk, like you can't walk up to Max Gawn after the game and like start shit or something because you like the bloke.
Yeah.
But you can hate the team.
Yeah.
So it's easy for Mason Cox to hate Carlton, as an example. it's like a rivalry, you just say like, just a little snipe. Oh, their facilities aren't as good as ours or something. Like
something like no duck, no dinner.
Exactly. No duck, no dinner. Like just some little thing where you just talk shit. You could tear Richmond to shreds. You could just bring up that every time. Oh, yeah. Remember that time I took X amount of contested marks and downed you, killed the 4-peat? Just talk shit about the team and not the individuals, because it will be a bit, put on if you talk shit about the individuals. But the team, I think, is fair game. And then as soon as Mason Cox talks shit about Richmond, you circle it in the calendar, round whatever, that game's coming up. It sells more tickets, gets more people in the door, generates more revenue, more money in your pocket.
You know what happens whenever someone talks bad about a team like that? That makes a team review. And that amps up the team. So remember 100%. They were like all duck, no dinner. That made our preview for that round of that game against Melbourne. And you're like, I'm all for rivalries. I'm all for it. I'm not going to be the guy saying that stuff. I'll tell you that, Braden. But I think the AFL has gotten to the point where they don't want it to seen as like a rough, kind of like rugged redneck kind of sport. They wanted to have a bit more class. Like there's no real fighting anymore. You got to stand the mark. You can't really psych people out. Like they're kind of gone a bit more conservative where, yes, I am in the same boat. Man. I'm like, I want to see a scuffle. I want to see people just, crack onto each other and just have a little bit of hate, like just rip blokes off. I want to see some rip jumpers. Like, let's actually just get into it. Like, let's bring the jumper punch back.
Yeah, I think there's got to be a bit more action. Like the game's in a great spot from a, scoring perspective. The scores are up a little bit year on year finally, and everything's nice. But yeah, there's just it's missing something. For an example, is Essendon and Hawthorn, I think, are playing round 1, and like the line in the sand game and all of that stuff, they used to rip each other's heads off. Now, if they both come out and they're like, "Good job, guys, way to go, that was great, like well played, we lost, we'll get you next time," that just doesn't do it for me. And that's what's going to be. You can't do that in the state of origin. I just don't think that we could ever get that passion back, and it'll be manufactured. But bring it back week to week, get everything just going again.
He is hyped for round 1. You just want the most hype possible to get into this thing. Look, I'm all for it. I think there's definitely hatred between like fans. I think fans genuinely hate each other, like whenever it comes to, supporters for certain bases. But the players now, because a lot of them like play growing up and stuff, they're all mates. Like a lot of the guys have played together at some point. There's not really a lot of hatred between players. And we're going to one man that is impossible to hate later. Ben Brown, which is one of the most lovely humans ever. But I do agree. There is room for us to have a bit, this sounds terrible, room for us to have a bit more hatred in the league.
I've got this. I've marked it down. They're a bit irrelevant. But you and North Melbourne, you've already talked that much shit.
I've not talked any shit about North Melbourne.
I'm going to cut up a promo to be like, Mason Cox hates North Melbourne.
You send straight to Clarkson and be like, "Oh, did you know?" on the Mason Cox show.
Hey, Clarko doesn't even know what team he's coaching. Did you see that video come out?
Hey, also, North Melbourne just throwing him under the bus like that? Rough gig.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, just make something worse. But
it was probably the biggest, most media they got all year, though.
Aren't you see, this is what that's going in the hype reel. You're going to Tassie soon, aren't you?
We are. Wednesday. We're headed south. Headed south of the border.
All 6 of them are going to be at the airport waiting for you.
Mate, it's gonna be a ruthless crowd. If in Tasmania listens to us, they probably don't love me too much. But we love Tasmania here. It's a beautiful place, but we do poke fun at it, like just the rest of mainland Australia.
I'm looking forward to it. So
it's going to be interesting.
Do we want to get into this now? We'll push it forward a little bit. While we're talking about Tassie, they're going to get a club. Well, it's looking like they're going to get a team. It's on the verge. It's on the horizon. It's right on the precipice. It's so they're all just kind of jostling to figure out who's going to pay for what. So it's the AFL, the state government, and the federal government. So the states chipped in. What are they chipped in? 375 million. The AFL's chipped in 360 million. And they want 240 million from the federal government, and that's to go into everything. But the most important thing is the stadium being built in Hobart at Macquarie Point. So it looks the most likely that it's ever looked that Tassie's going to get a team.
Yeah. 19 teams, just not a great. That doesn't sound clean, does it? We have 19 teams in the AFL.
So Tassie's just about to get a new team, and you're already taking the shine off them, and you're already thinking about a 20th.
We shouldn't get a Tassie team. I'll let you finish that and think through that one. But I will say this: that stadium they build, God, I hope it has a roof.
Yeah,
you're playing in June down in Tasmania and Hobart. Oh my gosh, I hope the AC and the heater's pumping in that joint. Oh my gosh. You're talking about the MCG needing to get a roof. I think this becomes a priority all of a sudden now.
I think it'll be one up there with one of the best crowds in footy. Like it might be a bit smaller. Like they might build this like boutique stadium overlooking the harbour or whatever.
Yeah.
So it'll look nice. But yeah, like if it doesn't have a roof, like you're getting the weather, the wind, the rain. It'll be a real home ground advantage. It doesn't take long to get around Tassie. It's a pretty small place, so the crowds will turn out. They'll be as passionate as ever. They get their own team. It's not, you get to share in North Melbourne or Gold Coast or Hawthorn or whoever. It's their own team. So yeah, I'm super pumped for it, and I can definitely see myself going down there for a game or two. Suck on a bit of wine, laying in front of the fire on the bearskin rug.
Oh gosh.
Just wearing a pair of socks.
Oh, no. I don't need this picture in my head right now, Braden. It is.
You'll be there. We'll be recording a podcast.
I'll be there Wednesday. Maybe we go for the launch. I want to know what they're going to call this team too, because they went strong with the NBL team, the Jack Jumpers, which I still question. I don't even know what that is today.
You got to go with the Tassie Devils. It's the best.
Oh, 100%. And shout out to the North Texas Tassie Devils, which is a USAFL team, because I know they're called the Tassie Devils, but that's 100%. Or the Tassie Tigers, but the Tigers are already taken. So
I think it'll just leapfrog into. That's off the top of my head. That's got to be top 4 mascot. I'll put it out there.
Tassie Devil.
The Tassie Devil. Yeah. It's sick. That'd be so good. They always, tie themselves into the green color. Green look pretty gross.
Yeah. But the green is it's very nature rich, Tasmania. So it kind of makes sense. But also, what other team has green? No one else has green. So it's very much them. It's on brand. They can make it their own.
I've always thought that there must be some reason why they don't have green, whether it clashes with the grass on the broadcast angle or something. But you think, the only team that ever had some kind of green in it from, off the top of my head is Freo in their 3 color. It was and which looked awesome. I actually like that.
One thing, now that you say this, the green thing. So there's a team called Boise State, right? And they're bright blue. And what they've done is they've painted their football field in the US bright blue. So they have this
I've seen
trick play
it's disgusting.
where they kick it off and one guy's laying down. He literally just camouflages into the ground. And it's all of a sudden, everyone's on one side thinking one guy's going to get it. And then he just all of a sudden turns around and chunks it the other way. And the guy jumps off the ground out of his camouflage little hole and then catches the ball and runs into the end zone. I'm telling you, if Tassie can pull that off, maybe I'm all for the green.
Imagine that. Already thinking tactics. They haven't even got their team. But talking about that, the XFL has started. Now, I don't know if you're a massive XFL fan.
Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
It's basically all they've got, from what I can see, is the Rock
That's it.
is obviously the owner. He bought it off Vince McMahon. Yep. So there's a lot of history around the XFL, and it's been around for a lot longer than probably people know, or at least in Australia. But how would you explain this league for someone that doesn't really know what it is?
It's essentially a bunch of celebrities and just people wanted to have an NFL in the off season of NFL, right? Because there's no, NFL just has one tier. It's the NFL. There's not really, there was the Canadian Football League for a long time, but now they still want an American affiliate. So it's the twos of the NFL. And there's because you go from college and then there's only a small percentage that makes it to the NFL. So what do all these other people do? There's over 50 people on a team. So this gives an opportunity for those people to play. Now, I think we talked about this before, was these are being played in stadiums that are not meant to be football stadiums.
Yeah.
They are soccer fields where the end zone is concrete, wall past the end zone. There's not much space beyond it. And they're running on a tight budget. Let's just say that. They're just picking out any stadium they can hold maybe 10 to 15,000 people, save a bit of cash on the way in, sell as many beers as possible, and try to make as much money.
I mean, it makes sense. I did see one clip a bloke's looking over his shoulder, kind of running back with the flight as quick as he can.
Oh no.
But the wall is flush up against the end zone and just runs straight into the wall. You could just hear the CTE. You could hear his brain just mashing around in his skull. So yeah, there's not
back with the flight.
Yeah, it's very unique because I mean there was some AFL games that were played back in the 80s, like early mid 90s of like the AFL would go over and play in like Miami and stuff. I think there was a Collingwood game where they're playing in Miami on a dirt baseball pitch. And it's this weird shape, and there's not really like the goals aren't really in a line, and they're like it's only a couple kicks from end to end and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It really reminded me of AFLX when I first saw this thing. That the AFL
100%.
was like, well, we got to be able to play anywhere. So opening it up to soccer stadiums and like pitches like that.
Great idea. Terrible execution. Just terrible. That was a circus. Hey, all big fan of the super duper goal.
It was literally a circus. That opening shot for the promo.
I will never, if I ever get to interview Gil in this thing, and I did an interview recently, and I said, Gil is the man I want to get on, and I want to ask this question specifically of what was going through his mind when he took that photo with all the different circus people around him. Like, is he going in his head, I am sacking this marketing manager as soon as I get out of this place?
It was just an instant meme. I think it was like the most.
I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. But another thing that came out of this, like another thought that I had was, you know, The Rock is the owner, and that really brings a lot of shine and a lot of attention, a lot of media spotlight to the XFL that, you know, even when Vince McMahon owned it, he didn't really come out. He's old. He's like 80. But I was thinking it would be cool, hypothetically, to have some kind of private ownership over AFL clubs. It would be really cool you could really ramp stuff up because at the moment, like every club is kind of hamstrung by, you know, the funding that they can receive from the AFL and things like that. You don't want to lose any ownership from the fans, obviously. So it would have to be some kind of split that would be like 51% owned by the fans, so they still had the final say
still
over
majority.
Stuff. But then if an owner came in, they would still be able to shake things up and earn money back because they got to get some kind of return on their investment. Don't you reckon?
I do, and it's wild to think that like the AFL is hamstrung, you said, quote unquote, on finances, but has $360 million to throw down in Tasmania.
Yeah, it's an investment.
But it's an investment. 360 mil is a lot. But anyway, it's I would like that. I think it'd be cool. Like you still have fans own a majority, at least 50%, 51%, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the option for other people to buy out and like be part of it. So like the only thing that we really have is like a number one ticket holder, which kind of like changes depending on the team and like every year.
Yeah.
And that's like a way for them to kind of get media around the team and stuff like that. But if there was someone, or like, let's say someone owns a business and they're like very, you know, affluent, whatever it is, they can have like a part ownership of a team, right? And I think that would be kind of cool to find a way to bring more finances into the AFL beyond just memberships, but still have the idea of members-owned clubs. Yeah, and I think the 51% share or more is like the best way to do it
because it is something unique to the AFL that the fans own 100%. The club, but at the same time, and people might think, you know, it'll skew the competition even more. The stronger teams will only get stronger, blah blah blah. But at the same time, you know, if there's Chris Hemsworth, massive Doggies fan, wants to invest into the Bulldogs, he could lift them up past what they'll be able to achieve because there are just smaller clubs that have been, you know, grinding away for a long time that just have a ceiling on what they can kind of achieve financially. And I could see them break through stuff like that.
I think there's probably some American billionaire who'd be like, I'd love to have a part ownership in the Kangaroos of Australia. Like that, I mean, just saying that to Americans makes them kind of laugh. I think it would just be like a hilarious thing on the side that people would just love to be invested in and be like, yeah, every year I go down to Melbourne, I go watch my bloody Kangaroos play against the Tassie Devils. And, you know, it's a great time. And it's kind of like, you know, you think of, was it Ryan Reynolds has bought Wrexham United and is like invested in that. And like that's gone really well. And Wrexham has gone through the roof with funding because they have someone like a celebrity like that on board who is willing to invest and willing to bring attention to it. And now they've got major sponsors like TikTok and stuff that are a part of it. And now he's part of this Disney sponsored like show that goes with it. And Wrexham's going really well. And it's like, there is like proof in the pudding that's already out there that this can be a possibility to actually go forward and be successful.
100%. If I was investing, if I was an overseas investor, Gold Coast. Matt
Damon. Matt Damon just throw cash in there.
Got a lot of upside. I go visit my team in the sunny 26-degree dry weather.
How good would that be?
Go for a surf, stay in the penthouse, go watch my beloved Suns run out on Metricon Stadium. Probably buy the stadium too. Yeah. But no, that is a good one. People will shut it down straight away, I reckon.
Yeah, 100% people will shut it down. But we said the 51%, which is still giving ownership to you guys.
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely love it. I love that idea.
We'll move on, and we mentioned this briefly before. Now, we love the positive news of AFL. And this week, something awesome happened. I want to bring attention to it because it's one of my favorite stories of the year already, and it is very early in the year. Now, Ben Brown, we all know Ben Brown. He's one of the nicest, most loving humans. Moved over from North Melbourne over to the Melbourne Demons, and he's a character in the league for all the right reasons. Yeah. And 100% agree. And he is known for his locks, his luscious little curly locks, that got him looking like, who's the guy from The Simpsons? Sideshow Bob. He's got to look like Sideshow Bob. I mean that in the most loving way, Ben Brown. And he decided to cut him off. An iconic look of his. He decided to cut it off for an amazing charity called Challenge. It's a non-for-profit organization that supports families and children living with cancer. And his 17-year-old cousin Grace has beaten leukemia 2 times, and he was doing it for her. And he's raised over $80,000. And to be honest, I just want to give massive props to the man because he's an absolute legend. He's gone out and done this on his own bat. He's gone and done something that's changes his image somewhat. Like, he's a family man, don't get me wrong. And I think people are looking at him probably differently on the field going, who's that guy running around without the hair on? Because it's so iconic to him. But it's awesome to see people like this do amazing things with their image and with their platform being an AFL player. And massive props to Ben Brown. If you want to donate, go to fundraise.challenge.org.au. Over 730 donations already. It's awesome to see these kind of things. And I love whenever someone that's such an icon like Ben Brown just keeps being the person that everyone should be admiring.
Role model gets thrown around a lot, but he is genuinely a great role model to, children, adults, and everyone in between. He's raised $80,000, which is absolutely insane, but he's still raising more money. So if you want to get around it, like Mace said, fundraise.challenge.org.au, jump on, donate, whatever you can. It all goes to an amazing cause. What a bloke.
Awesome guy. But we're going to move on to someone who hasn't had a great year. Let's be honest. And his name, I'm not going to say his name yet. It's Sierra's husband. Now, if you know a little bit of entertainment, Sierra's husband, you might know. And for those sporting enthusiasts out there, I'm just going to give a little quote. And that quote is, "Let's ride. Let's ride. Let's ride." The man, Russell Wilson, he has had a hell of a year. He signed a mega deal with the Broncos last year, and everyone hyped him up to be this big turning point for the club and everything else, and it has gone the total opposite way. He has struggled the whole year, and it's been tough to watch, but it's gotten worse, Braden.
It has actually gotten worse. So he has a foundation, the Why Not You Foundation, has spent $600,000 on charity, which is,
It's nice, yep.
Not bad. Well, it is kind of bad when you find out they've spent $1.1 million on employee salaries in that same time. So it works out to about 21 to 25 cents per dollar is being donated, and the rest is going straight in the old pocket.
Oh, geez. Talk about wanting to donate to good causes. I think we maybe skip this whole Russell Wilson thing and move back to Ben Brown. Golly, that's not a good look, is it? This guy just literally cannot. I mean, that's on his own bat. I mean, that's his own fault, I feel like, being the head of the charity in the face of it. But seriously, you can't be paying your employees more than you're actually paying to the charity that you're running.
Yeah, I think silver lining out of all this, he's been paid enough in his new Broncos deal to
cover that.
Top that up, I reckon.
Fix that little accounting mistake pretty quickly.
Yeah, get those numbers up. At least you can look good in the public's eye if you're not looking good in your teammates' eyes.
Can you imagine this guy won the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award in 2020 and it's just gone absolutely shit out since then?
Yeah, he's got a bit of a curse. There's got to be some kind of jinx on him.
I'm starting to feel bad. I'm really starting to feel bad. But then you go back, and if you ever have seen it, it's just cringe. The whole, that's rad.
Oh, it's so bad. I was like, yeah, throughout the year, he just kept going with it. And it was like, we're going to have to drop you, mate, because you've been so
his
terrible.
Teammates were making fun of him by the end of the year. I was like, oh, no.
So let's jump in to the practice game. Collingwood.
Yep.
Premiership out the window this year. It's all done. Lost by 10 points against Carlton in the preseason game. One silver lining from this situation, Dan McStay was Dan McGreat.
Oh, he was damn McGood and great, I'll tell you that.
He called it early. He kicked 3 goals. No one got injured. Pendle's going to go forever.
Yeah, what was it? What was the quote? You guys want to play for a few more years at least?
Yeah, just at least. Like,
props to him. If he can do it, he's a fine wine. I've always said it. He's a fine wine. But
if he only ekes out a few more years, it's a failure. No, he's got a few more years left in him. So how did you find the match day? I tuned in for bits and pieces. I saw Elliot, Jamie take a hanger, just warming up for the season.
Got front row seat to that one. I was like, damn, okay.
So how was the game? Did you just take the foot off the gas in the last little bit and let them win to, get a little back from after you knocked them out of finals going?
No, we don't ever take the foot off the gas. We did trial a few different things, too, to get game styles and stuff like that. It's what preseason's all about. It's getting a few opportunities to trial some things against some new opposition, playing against new people. Obviously, we've been training against each other for like 4 or 5 months since season's finished. So it's nice to have a bit of a different person and personnel that you're going against and be able to throw different things at you. So successful. No one got injured. Everyone's happy at the end of the day. Yes, we would have liked to have won, but it's preseason. We'll kind of keep moving on. We're headed down to Tasmania soon. But yeah, it was a good game. Can't complain. Everyone's happy.
And where'd you play primarily?
Played a bit of ruck and then played a little bit of forward. So Darcy Cameron played 3 quarters and then Billy Frampton went into the ruck. Very interesting. Love Billy. I think we still have to figure out if he can get a shin guard. I don't think he had a shin guard go to the center balances, but it was good. I don't know. It was just it was a good day, and then had a little team dinner after, and everyone just enjoyed a bit of preseason relaxation before the chaos kicks on.
One last one about the actual game itself. Is there enough room for you up there amongst the damn McGreats and the Maya Checks of the world?
Well, the Maya Checks of the world didn't play over the weekend, so yeah, it was. I'm not really
bit of a paddock for Big Mace. Clear it out.
Well, okay.
The big fellas up here. Clear out, boys.
Clear out, boys. Clear the goal square.
Dan McStay outside 50. This is mine.
Oh, outside 30. I'm like probably still giving handball receives, to be honest. No, it's going to be interesting. The forward line's got a lot of different talent going through there, so who knows what will happen. But no, it's exciting to have so many options, I think, going into the season. And as long as we get to this next game unscathed, we'll be hopefully sitting pretty with a pretty uninjured list.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. So
you're heading to Tassie? Or did you get this week off just to build that rivalry a bit further?
Oh, nah, I'm going to stay. I'm going to play. I don't know. Tasmania, I'm going to be interested to see how the crowd is over there. We've never played in Tasmania. Like, we don't even play in Geelong. Like, it's like literally next door. So going to Tasmania is going to be a unique experience for us. Hopefully it's not too cold. Probably be super windy knowing Tasmania. But we'll go down there. We'll play Hawthorn, which obviously are attached to the Tasmania. And I think Hawthorn probably helped Tasmania and the drumming up of like the audience of wanting to get a Tasmanian team. And it's worked because now, obviously, like we said, they're starting to get into it. So, it'll be a good little chat down there with them, play Hawthorn. And I've never really spent much time in Launceston, so we'll take advice on places to go.
Not much happening in Lonnie. Go down, see the boats, but that's about it. I think...
is there tulips down there in Lonnie? I think there's a tulip farm somewhere around there I might go check out.
You get the week off after that, right?
Week off, yeah.
So what do you do? Do you stay down there? Do you spend the week traveling Tassie? Or
I have traveled Tassie. I have spent some time in Tassie. It's
Wineglass Bay?
Wineglass Bay, done that. Mount Amos, lovely place.
Freycinet?
Freycinet?
Sure.
I think so. I don't know. We're probably butchering that. But Cradle Mountain. You should go to Cradle Mountain if you haven't been to Cradle Mountain. Beautiful spot. But I'm coming back here. I'm going to do, my birthday's March 14th, so get around it. Pi Day, 3.14.
My birthday's the 7th.
Ooh,
So that's what's that? Next week?
That's next week. We should probably start getting prepared for that. I'm going on a little golf trip. I'm going down Mornington. Going to do a little golf there and then take the ferry over the next day, do a bit of golf there and head back. So what are you doing for your birthday?
I'm packing gear because I'm driving to Newcastle to do
going to Newcastle.
Yeah, to do some podcasts.
The van is going on a road trip. Here we go.
It's the first big road trip for the van, so I got to get it ready.
What, change the oil?
Yeah, I got to get it serviced because it hasn't had a service since I got it. So it's just hanging together. But no, I think that's it. I think that's it for sport.
Look, it's what we're doing. We're doing a little bit of a quick hit of sport because we've obviously got entertainment coming up later in the week. On Wednesday or Thursday, we'll release it. And we are going to cut this up into two. So, you might be driving to work right now and you're going to go, man, 30 minutes. I'm just pulling into the parking lot. How beautiful. This is perfectly timed. And that's what we're thinking. That's what we're going for here. And we're going to give you a quick hit, a little bit of a water cooler chat version of sport to let you know whenever you get into the morning what's happened over the weekend.
And it was damn good.
It was damn great. All right, legends. Anyway, go have an amazing day at work. Go have an amazing day ahead of you. Learn something new and follow us on all the platforms, all that kind of jazz as always. And that's it from the Mason Cox Show Sports Podcast. See ya.